Welcome to Month 7 of the Senior Copilot Studio Admin Track. This is an advanced session that picks up directly after the AB 100 certification gate from Month 6. If you have made it here, you have already demonstrated governance competency at the exam level. Today, we go further. This session runs 4 hours and covers Microsoft Agent 365, the enterprise control plane that shipped in general availability on May 1, 2026. By the time we finish, you will know how to observe your organization's full agent estate across every platform, govern agent onboarding and lifecycle, and apply intra, purview, and defender security controls to your agents. You will also register an agent instance using the Agent 365 SDK, the mechanism that grants any agent a verifiable identity and full governance coverage. The 5 session objectives are: compare the agent types that appear in the registry and understand how each is governed. Apply observability metrics to surface compliance risk before it becomes an incident. Run the 4 governance action workflows that every AI administrator needs. Configure all 3 security pillars, intra, purview, and defender, and extend an existing agent to an agent instance. Prerequisites are months 1 through 6 complete, and your developer tenant ready with at least 1 published Copilot Studio agent. 4 hours, 4 focus blocks. Hour 1 covers the Agent 365 product itself. We define what Agent 365 is, how it differs from Copilot Studio and the M365 Agents SDK, and what the 9 agent types in the registry look like. We walk through the agent registry interface and introduce the Contoso Manufacturing case study that will anchor the rest of the session. Hour 2 is domain build and observability. We drill into the observability metrics, active users, runtime hours, trending agents, the agent map, and then run the 4 governance action workflows: pending requests, agents at risk, agents without owners, and agents with exceptions. We also do a live tenant governance audit in your own environment. Hour 3 is security pillar configuration. We work through each of the 3 security pillars: intra for agent identity and conditional access, purview for data loss prevention and retention, and defender for real-time runtime threat detection. We finish Hour 3 with agent instance registration using the Agent 365 SDK. Hour 4 is governance policy and the challenge brief. We formalize an enterprise agent governance policy, complete the session validation report, and launch the Month 7 challenge. Offline milestones extend your work into the next weeks before track completion. Microsoft Agent 365 is not a tool for building agents. That distinction is the most important thing to lock in before anything else in this session. Agent 365 is the control plane, the administrative layer that lets IT leaders observe, secure, and govern agents regardless of where those agents were built or acquired. The product organizes around 3 pillars. Observe gives you centralized visibility across your entire agent estate. You see all agents in a single registry, their active users and runtime hours over the last 30 days, which platforms they were built on, and a visual agent map showing how agents relate to each other across the organization. This is the first time many organizations will have a complete picture of how many agents are actually running in their tenant. Govern gives you IT control over onboarding and lifecycle. Every new agent goes through an IT approval queue before deployment. Ownership is assigned at registration. Lifecycle rules flag ownerless agents, enforce access controls, and ensure audit readiness. Policy templates apply automatically so you are not configuring governance manually for every agent. Secure integrates 3 Microsoft security products directly into agent governance. Microsoft Intra enforces identity and risk-based conditional access for agent sessions. Microsoft Purview applies data loss prevention policies and retention controls scoped to individual agents. Microsoft Defender provides real-time runtime threat detection and surfaces high-severity signals back into the Agent 365 registry. Agent 365 became generally available on May 1, 2026. It is licensed per user. You access it at Admin, Cloud, Microsoft, navigate to Agents, and from there you can see everything covered in this session. Before we go deeper, let's resolve the naming confusion that trips up almost every team encountering this product space for the first time. There are 5 distinct products in the Microsoft Agent ecosystem, and each has a different purpose and audience. Microsoft Agent 365 is the administrative control plane, the subject of this session. Its audience is IT administrators and AI administrators. It does not build agents, it governs them. Microsoft Copilot Studio is the low-code platform for authoring and publishing agents. Its audience is makers and admins. When a maker publishes a Copilot Studio agent, that agent appears in the Agent 365 registry under one of 3 types: MCS-DA, MCSC, or MCS Business Process. The M365 Agents SDK, also known as the Agents Toolkit, is the developer toolkit for building code-first Teams native agents. Agents built with it appear in the registry as Agent Toolkit type. Microsoft Foundry is the enterprise AI model and agent development platform for AI engineers. Foundry agents appear in the registry as Foundry LOB, Foundry non-LOB, or Foundry hosted depending on how they were created. The Agent 365 SDK is the mechanism that extends any agent into an agent instance, the premium governance tier that grants an agent an Entra identity, purview coverage, enhanced observability, and IT-applied policy templates. This is what we use in Hour 3. The key distinction to carry through the entire session: Agent 365 does not build agents. It governs agents regardless of where they were built. The Agent 365 registry recognizes 9 distinct agent types. Understanding each type tells you how the agent was built, who is accountable for it, and what governance controls apply. MCSDA is a Copilot Studio declarative agent, an agent created using written instructions in Copilot Studio and published through the Teams or M365 Copilot catalog. MCSCEA is a Copilot Studio custom engine agent, which uses more precise Copilot Studio settings and capabilities, giving the maker more control over conversation logic than a purely declarative approach. MCS Business Process Agents are automation sequence agents built in Copilot Studio for structured business workflows. Foundry LOB agents are in-house agents built with Microsoft Foundry for specific line of business scenarios. Foundry non-LOB and Foundry hosted are the general purpose and platform hosted variants respectively. Agent Builder agents are declarative agents created directly inside Microsoft Copilot Chat using the Agent Builder experience, a lightweight authoring path for knowledge workers who do not use Copilot Studio. SharePoint agents are declarative agents grounded in SharePoint knowledge, created directly in SharePoint, another lightweight path that generates agents visible in the registry. Agent Toolkit agents are the code-first variant built using the Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit for Teams development. And finally, Agent Instance, the governance tier we are working toward today. Any agent from any platform can be extended to an agent instance using the Agent 365 SDK. When it gains an Entra app registration identity, richer observability metrics, purview DLP coverage scope to that identity, and an IT-approved policy template. This is the highest governance tier in the registry. The Agent 365 registry is the starting point for every governance task. You reach it at Admin, Cloud, Microsoft, navigate to Agents, then Overview, and click the Registry tab. The top of the overview shows 4 numbers: the total registry count, all agents across your tenant including Microsoft, partner, and custom built, active users over the last 30 days, runtime hours over the same period, and the registry sync count showing how many external platforms have been scanned for non-Microsoft agents. The registry has 3 primary views. The registry tab itself is the full agent inventory. You can filter by type to see all MCSDA agents, all Foundry agents, all agent instances, and so on. You can filter by owner to find agents that have no owner assigned. You can filter by risk to surface agents with active security signals. The Requests tab shows agents waiting for IT approval before deployment. This is the queue your governance workflow runs through. And the Agent Map is a visual topology showing how agents relate to each other across the estate, useful for understanding dependencies and blast radius before making a governance change. Agents in the registry are grouped by creator category, your organization for agents built and published by your tenant users, third party for external partner publishers, and Microsoft for Microsoft-built agents. For Contoso Manufacturing in our case study, the registry shows over 60 agents across 4 primary platforms: Copilot Studio, SharePoint, Microsoft Foundry, and Agent Builder. 38 of those agents have no owner assigned. 2 are flagged at risk by Defender. 0 have formal DLP controls applied. This is the governance gap we are here to close. Contoso Manufacturing is a 12,000 employee industrial organization operating across 18 sites. They activated Agent 365 and ran a registry sync and discovered more than 60 agents running across their tenant. Nobody had a complete picture of this estate before the sync. 38 of those agents have no owner assigned. An ownerless agent means there is no person accountable for its accuracy, its data access, or what happens if it starts misbehaving. From a compliance standpoint, ownerless agents are a liability. 2 agents have been flagged by Defender with high-severity risk signals, meaning there is active evidence of unsafe behavior or suspicious activity in those agent sessions. And critically, 0 agents in the estate have formal DLP controls applied through Purview. Every agent is operating without data governance. Looking at the registry sample, the IT helpdesk bot is an MCSCEA type built in Copilot Studio, owned by IT Ops, with a sensitivity label applied, one of the better governed agents in the estate. The HR policy assistant is an MCSDA type, a declarative agent, with no owner assigned and no DLP policy. This is the pattern across the 38 ownerless agents. The 4-pillar governance gap at Contoso Manufacturing: observability, governance actions, security controls, and agent instance registration, is what we solve in this session. Observability in Agent 365 centers on 3 metrics that give you a 30-day picture of how your agent estate is behaving. Active users counts the unique users who sent a prompt to an agent and received a response during the last 30 days. The count starts accumulating from the moment Agent 365 licenses are activated in your tenant. It covers all channels, Microsoft channels and non-Microsoft channels, so it captures Teams, web, mobile, and any third-party surfaces the agent is deployed to. Agent runtime hours measures the total hours worked by all agents in the estate, calculated from when a user request begins to when the agent completes its response, aggregated across all tool calls and response preparation time. This number tells you not just who is using agents, but how much computational work the agents are actually doing. Trending agents by active users shows the top agents by user engagement over the last 30 days. Pay close attention to spikes in this list. A sharp uptick in usage for an agent that has no owner assigned, no DLP policy, and no formal onboarding is a compliance risk signal. Popularity without governance is dangerous. The agent map gives you the visual layer, a topology of how agents relate to each other across the estate. This matters when an agent invokes another agent, when agents share knowledge sources, or when you need to understand the downstream impact of disabling or modifying one agent. For Contoso Manufacturing, the top platforms by agent count are Copilot Studio with 34 agents, SharePoint with 13, Microsoft Foundry with 9, Agent Builder with 6, and non-Microsoft platforms with 4. The Agent 365 overview surfaces 4 governance action cards. These are not informational widgets. Each one is a queue of work that requires administrator action. Pending requests is the approval queue for agents awaiting IT sign-off before deployment. Agents do not auto-approve even if the person submitting is an admin. Every submission goes through the queue. You reach it at Registry, then Requests tab, then Manage Requests. This is where you apply policy templates, assign ownership, and either approve or reject the deployment. Agents at Risk aggregates high-severity signals from Entra, Purview, and Defender into a single view. This is the critical visibility gap that Agent 365 closes. Previously, an IT admin would need to check 3 separate security portals to see agent-related alerts. Now they surface in one place. You reach it at Registry, filter by risk, then manage agent risks. Agents without owners is the ownership gap queue. Every agent must have a designated owner responsible for the agent's life cycle and ongoing maintenance. An ownerless agent with no accountability chain is a compliance liability. You reach it at Registry, filter by agents without owners, then use Assign Owner. Agents with exceptions shows agents experiencing runtime errors in their conversations. Runtime exceptions are distinct from security risks. They indicate operational failures, not threats. An agent that errors consistently is either misconfigured or broken. You reach it at Registry, filter by agents with exceptions, then view details. A critical point on role requirements. Governance actions, approving requests, assigning owners, remediating risks, all require the AI administrator or global administrator role. Copilot Studio admin alone is not sufficient. Agent lifecycle governance in Agent 365 follows a 5-stage flow: build and submit, IT approval, operate, review, and retire. In build and submit, the maker creates the agent in Copilot Studio, Foundry, or Code, and submits it to the IT approval queue with an owner name, business justification, and data classification. The submission triggers the pending requests queue that the AI administrator monitors. In IT approval, the AI admin reviews the submission in Registry, then requests. If approved, a policy template is applied automatically, DLP settings, access controls, retention rules, without the admin having to configure each control manually per agent. In Operate, the agent is active and monitored continuously via the registry. The assigned owner is accountable for the agent's performance, exception rates, and access controls throughout the active phase. In Review, automated rules flag the agent if it records 0 active users for 90 consecutive days. If the assigned owner departs the organization, an ownership change trigger fires. These are not manual checks, they are policy-driven. In Retire, the agent is disabled, removed from the registry, and conversation logs are archived according to the Purview retention policy applied at registration. 3 governance principles underpin this life cycle. Bring agents under control from day one. Every agent goes through one IT-controlled onboarding flow with policy templates applying automatically. Control what agents can access. Enforce least privilege across users, data sources, tools, and other agents the agent can invoke. And automate ongoing governance. Rules-based lifecycle policies reduce manual admin burden at scale and ensure continuous compliance rather than point-in-time audits. This is your practical exercise for Hour 2. You have 30 minutes to run a live governance audit in your own developer tenant using everything covered so far. Step 1. Open the Agent Overview at Admin. Cloud. Microsoft, navigate to Agents, then Overview. Record the 4 governance action card counts of pending requests, agents at risk, agents without owners, agents with exceptions. These 4 numbers are your governance baseline. Step 2. Navigate to the Registry tab and filter by type. Document every agent type present in your tenant. Note which platforms appear in the top platforms section. This is your agent estate inventory. Step 3. Filter by agents without owners. Select one agent and assign yourself as owner, or document the specific reason you cannot complete the assignment in your current tenant configuration. Every participant should leave this step with either a completed ownership assignment or a documented blocker. Step 4. Navigate to the Requests tab and document any pending requests. If the queue is empty, common in a fresh developer tenant, simulate a submission by publishing a new agent from Copilot Studio and observing how it enters the approval workflow. Your deliverable is a completed audit worksheet covering 5 items: a registry summary by type and platform, the 4 governance gap counts, the 30-day observability metrics including active users, runtime hours, and the top 3 trending agents, 1 ownership assignment completed or a documented blocker, and 1 pending request reviewed or simulated. The first of the 3 security pillars is identity, delivered through Microsoft Entra. Entra enforces risk-based access controls for both human users and agents acting on their behalf. When you register an agent instance using the Agent 365 SDK, that agent receives an Entra app registration, a verifiable identity in your tenant. From that point, the agent's authentication behavior is governed by the same Entra policies that govern your user identities. Least privilege permission scoping works through the API permissions on the agent's Entra app registration. The permissions you grant define the ceiling of what the agent can access. It cannot exceed those permissions regardless of what the user asks it to do. Admin consent is required for all permissions. Individual user consent is not sufficient for agent identities. Conditional access for agent sessions works by targeting the agent's Entra app ID directly in a conditional access policy. You can enforce device compliance requirements, location restrictions, or multi-factor authentication on actions the agent takes, giving you the same granular control over agent sessions that you have over human sessions. The registration flow for agent instance identity has 6 steps. Register a new app in Entra Admin Center and record the application client ID. Grant API permissions, agents. Read-write. All or a more scoped equivalent. Have an AI admin or global admin grant tenant-wide admin consent. Include the Entra app ID in the Agent 365 SDK manifest for registration. Create a conditional access policy targeting the agent's app ID, and monitor Entra sign-in logs filtering by the agent app name. One common error to flag: personal Microsoft accounts cannot obtain bearer tokens for agent API authentication. All registration must use a work or school account in the tenant. The second security pillar is data governance, delivered through Microsoft Purview. Purview DLP policies can be scoped specifically to the agent's workload, not tenant-wide. This is an important distinction. You are not writing a broad DLP policy that catches agents incidentally. You are creating a policy that targets agents specifically, scoped to a particular agent instance using its Entra app ID as the identifier. Sensitivity labels control what data the agent can access and what it can return. A label can block agent access to a restricted SharePoint site. It can prevent the agent from surfacing classified content in a response even if the underlying user technically has access to that content. The label enforcement happens at runtime, not at deployment time. Data retention and audit readiness apply through Purview retention policies attached to the agent's conversation logs. You define retention periods, legal hold options, and the escalation path for interactions flagged as unethical or non-compliant. This is what makes the agent estate audit-ready. The DLP policy setup flow has 6 steps. Navigate to Purview Compliance Portal, then Data Loss Prevention, then Policies. Create a new policy and set the scope to the agent's workload, not all locations. Choose the sensitivity label to enforce. Apply the policy to the specific agent identity using its Entra app ID. Set the policy mode to simulation and run it for at least 24 hours before switching to enforce. And review the DLP match log to confirm a match event was generated, not just a label applied event. The critical distinction to carry with you: DLP blocks runtime data access, not agent deployment. A DLP-blocked agent installs without any error. It only fails at runtime when it attempts to access a blocked resource, and it fails silently. Confirming a match event in the DLP log is how you verify the policy is actually working. The third security pillar is real-time threat protection, delivered through Microsoft Defender for cloud apps. Defender adds continuous runtime threat detection at the agent session level. It detects unsafe behaviors and malicious activity while the agent is actively operating, before damage is done, not after. This is the layer that catches things DLP and Entra cannot: runtime exploitation, prompt injection attempts, unusual data exfiltration patterns. Agent sessions are visible in Defender XDR under the activity log. Filter by app type equals agent to find your agent instance sessions by name. From there, you can create session policies scoped to the agent's Entra app ID and set the action to monitor for initial validation, or block or protect for production enforcement. The risk signals that Defender generates surface directly in the Agent 365 registry under Agents at Risk. A high-severity Defender alert combined with an Entra anomalous sign-in signal and a Purview DLP match creates a composite risk score for the agent. This unified score is what the IT administrator sees in the registry, rather than having to correlate signals from 3 separate security portals. Validation flow, navigate to security, Microsoft, COM then Cloud Apps then Activity Log. Filter by app type equals agent and locate your agent instance. Create a session policy scoped to the agent's Entra app ID with action set to monitor. Trigger an agent session and confirm the session event appears in the activity log. Then check the Agent 365 registry to confirm the risk signal updated. The expected risk signals surfacing in the registry after this setup are Entra anomalous sign-in events and Purview DLP match events. The 3 pillars working together to give you a complete picture of agent security posture. Agent instance is the governance tier that ties everything together. Any agent, Copilot Studio, Foundry, Agent Toolkit, third-party, custom-built, can be extended to an agent instance using the Agent 365 SDK. You are not rebuilding the agent. You are extending it. The benefits of agent instance registration are 4-fold. First, Entra-backed agent identity. The agent receives a dedicated app registration that gives it a verifiable identity in the tenant. This enables conditional access, permission scoping, and audit logging for every session the agent initiates. Second, enhanced observability in the registry. Agent instance type surfaces richer metrics than any other registry type: runtime hours, active users, exception counts, and risk signals all visible at per-agent granularity. Third, Purview coverage plus IT policy template. Conversation data is automatically covered by the Purview retention and DLP policies scoped to the agent identity. The IT-approved policy template is applied at registration, no manual per control configuration. Fourth, platform independence. The Agent 365 SDK is not limited to Copilot Studio agents. Any agent on any platform can be extended. This is how you bring non-Microsoft and custom-built agents under the same governance umbrella as your Copilot Studio estate. The registration manifest is a JSON file that includes the agent name, description, version, environment, Entra app ID, and the Agent 365 SDK version. The SDK validates the manifest, registers the agent identity in Entra, and creates the agent instance entry in the registry, completing the governance loop for this agent. The Month 7 Challenge is your demonstration that you can operate as an AI administrator at enterprise scale. The scenario is Contoso Manufacturing, 12,000 employees, 18 sites, 60 or more agents across 4 platforms. Your role is AI administrator. The challenge has 4 deliverables, each worth 25 points for a total of 100 points. Passing threshold is 75%. Deliverable 1 is the Agent Estate Audit Report. Provide a full registry summary, a governance gap analysis with counts across all 4 governance action categories, the 30-day observability metrics, and a priority remediation action list with assigned owner and deadline for each action. Deliverable 2 is the Enterprise Agent Governance Policy. The policy must cover at least 4 agent types. It must include onboarding guardrails with a defined service level agreement for approval turnaround, lifecycle rules including the 90-day stale agent flag, an access control matrix defining what each agent type can access, and purview retention and audit controls. Deliverable 3 is Agent Instance Registration. Take an existing Copilot Studio MCS agent, extend it to an agent instance using the Agent 365 SDK, complete the intra-app registration with admin consent, scope, and test a Purview DLP label, and confirm the agent appears in the registry as agent instance type. Deliverable 4 is the Security Integration Validation Report. Validate all 3 security pillars with evidence of the intra sign-in log entry for the agent session, the Purview DLP match event, and the Defender XDR session log entry. Screenshots alone are not sufficient. The log entries must be present and attributed to the correct agent identity. You have 3 hours in session. Submit using the naming convention your name month 7.md plus any supporting repository files. Agent 365 licensing is per user. General availability launched on May 1, 2026. The product activates as soon as licenses are assigned. There are no additional product prerequisites to enable it. The full security pillar capability requires additional Microsoft products, though none of them are hard blockers to getting started with the registry and governance workflows. Microsoft Entra Plan 1 is recommended for conditional access for agent identities. Entra Plan 2 or Entra Suite is recommended for risk-based conditional access policies, the more sophisticated Entra capability that evaluates sign-in risk signals before granting agent access. Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention is recommended for agent scope DLP policies and retention controls. Defender for cloud apps is recommended for real-time agent runtime protection. An M365 Copilot license is required for end users who will interact with agents published to the M365 Copilot catalog, but it is not required to run the Agent 365 administrative functions covered in this session. On admin roles, governance actions in Agent 365 require either AI Administrator or Global Administrator. Copilot Studio Admin and other M365 admin roles do not grant governance action permissions in the Agent 365 registry. If your team separates the Copilot Studio admin role from the AI Administrator role, which is a reasonable access control split, ensure the right people hold the right roles before attempting the challenge deliverables. Month 7 covered the full scope of Microsoft Agent 365 as the enterprise control plane. You now understand Agent 365 3-pillar architecture: observe, govern, secure, and how it operates independently of where agents are built. You know the 9 agent types in the registry, what platform each comes from, and how governance controls differ across them. You have run the 4 governance action workflows: pending requests, agents at risk, ownerless agents, and agents with exceptions, and understand when each applies. You have configured all 3 security pillars: Entra for identity and conditional access, Purview for data loss prevention and retention, and Defender for real-time runtime protection. And you have seen how agent instance registration via the Agent 365 SDK brings any agent under the full governance umbrella. Before your track completion, there are 6 offline milestones to work through. Connect all non-Microsoft platforms via registry sync and document the configuration. Build an automated lifecycle policy that flags agents with 0 active users for 90 consecutive days. Extend a second agent, specifically an MCSDA type, to agent instance and document how the experience differs from the MCSCEA you registered in session. Run a Purview DLP simulation across your full agent estate and produce a data risk report covering every agent. Present your governance policy to a stakeholder audience and collect structured feedback. And review the Agent 365 product roadmap to identify 3 upcoming features relevant to your organization's governance program. These milestones are not just exercises. They are the difference between understanding Agent 365 in a development tenant and operating it confidently in production.